Hello, I'm Michael from North West Propshafts. This is the start of our new YouTube series on Propshafts, what we do, how we do it, why we do it. We talk about shafts, we talk about nipples, we talk about flanges, so let's go. Hello, so this is what we do here at North West Propshafts. This is how jobs come into us a little bit. We've got a worksheet here with a kit car on, a Mazda RX8, I believe it is. So this is the sort of thing that happens. Jobs come into us, customers send us over these little tech sheets. They come into us into the office, and then off they go into the workshop once all the job sheets been filled in. Give it to one of the lads in the workshop. This is Scott. Scott's been with us a long time. He's the foreman of the workshop. So off he goes into the small stores. This is the little one, and then off into the big stores. Now the small stores, we keep all the single items, not very common. The big stores is where we keep all the bulk items that we use constantly all day, every day. So here he is just picking all the little bits that we need for the job that's on the job card. As I said, it's a Mazda RX8 to, I think it was a Salisbury back axle, something like that the customer sent in to us. So he's just picked all the parts and off he goes to the computer to book all the parts out. Now, the reason I'm recording like this rather than recording over the audio is the workshop was a little bit loud and we had lots of music going on in the workshop, and I'm still getting used to this. So off he goes into the workshop. It's dinner time. Everybody's just coming back from dinner. We thought we'd shoot this when it was a little bit quieter and we weren't as many things going on to the workshop. So the job card there is on the desk. We've got all the individual parts. So we've got 2 universal joints, a reverse sleeve, a flange, and 2 tube yokes. So the tube yokes are the bits that go inside the tube, that get welded inside the tube. The flange is the round circular piece that usually goes onto a diff or onto a round flange or a round gearbox flange. In this case, it's a gearbox spline. So that spline there that Scott's got in his hand is a reverse spline that goes into a gearbox. You see these on RX8, MX5, American, Tremec, Getrag, and obviously the more famous in the UK, the Ford Type 9. So this is Scott just assembling this universal joint. In goes the circlips. This is sped up. This is 2 times. He's not quite as quick at this, although he's super fast at doing this sort of thing. So in goes the universal joints, the universal joint caps, the circlips. Everything's all in place. Just pressing the final joint in there with the circlip going in, and then the grease nipple. Now he installs the flange. This is the flange yoke. This goes onto the Salisbury diff. Same thing again. Easy install of the universal joint. It's far easier using presses than using hammers and things like that. Although I think in future videos we'll probably show you lots of different ways of how to install and how to remove universal joints with whatever tools you might have in the workshop or in the garage. Changing universal joints isn't exactly a hard job. But sometimes there's certain things that you have to follow, little bits of rules that you have to follow. Which way you take it out, how you take it out, which goes in first, which direction it goes, which way around it goes. There's little things that people can make mistakes over. But here we go. This is the back end. We call this a fixed back end. It doesn't slide, it doesn't move. You've just got a universal joint in it with a tube yoke, a flange, and in goes the nipple. So back around to the table, we've had a look. So that's our drawing of our prop shaft that we're making there. So it says Mazda RX8 on the left, and the length 755 to 760. Customer give us 5 millimeters of movement between the top and the bottom of where he measured. So we'll work to the bottom. We'll work to the 760 mil of that. So just quickly measure up what it is. We already know these are standard lengths for us. So the flange is a certain height, the tube yoke is a certain height, but we're just doing this for the sake of the video so that we can just say this is how we measure it and how we work out how much tube we need. 570 mil of tube we need. So Propshaft tube is quite thin. It's surprising actually. The tube that we're using on this is about 2.4 mil thick. Not very thick whatsoever. It's already set up in the saw. So we'll just cut that piece of tube to length and then we machine it. So this is a machine that we had made in America. and this is purely for tapering the ends of tubes. So this tapers the tube nice and straight, puts a little 45-degree lead on it, so that allows when we're welding to have a nice straight face and a lot of surface area, so we can get a good weld. We know we get a good weld around it. So we machine both sides, as you can see here. Machine them straight, 45-degree on, take away the inside burrs that are on there so that they can press together nice and easy. Once that's done, quick measure, check that we're at the right length. Everything looks good to go, so tube done. So now we'll just put the back end in first. We always put the rear of the prop shaft together first. It's a little bit easier. Just tap it in place. It doesn't have to be lined up or anything like that at the moment because we've only got one end in. And this is one of our hydraulic presses. This is about, can go up to 3 meters long, so we can press some long prop shafts together. This makes the job a lot easier than a vertical and a lot safer. So keep the hands out of the way, and we can press this back end into the tube. So there, the back end's in, all done. Back over to the vise, and now the front end goes in. There's Ethan in the background. So now front end's been put in place. There are a couple of steps missing here, but there are some things that that I didn't film just because it's out of ease. So this is going to be pressed together. So I'll just show you a quick view over the top. You can see there the tube yoke is about 25mm long, and there we go, presses just inside the tube. So now that that tube's tapered and straight, we know that we've got a good starting point before it goes in to be welded and balanced. So a quick check of the length that we've got here, 760mm, I believe it was. So we'll just have a quick check, make sure that the length's okay before it goes into the balancing room and the welding room to be balanced. So yeah, happy with that, off it goes. So here we go, we're fastened to our balancing machine here. Now we use a collet chuck on the end. So that's the surface of that reverse spline is nice and flat and straight and perfect, and goes inside usually some kind of bush inside the gearbox housing. So we know that runs perfectly straight. So all of our welding is done by hand. We do it by hand just because we're so bespoke that it's very rarely the same shaft goes on immediately after this. So after this could be something massive off a DAF or something like that. So it's a lot easier to do things by hand. So all the lads learn welding by hand, which is a bit quicker, a little bit easier, and then we end up with a nice weld like that. So that gets welded up at both ends, and then off for spraying, and we have a wonderful prop shaft. That's it, all painted, ready to go to the customer to be boxed up. If you've got any questions, please ask. We're going to do quite a few of these videos covering all sorts of topics, but make sure you ask us. So thank you for watching.